you know, you may be struggling right now because you see your job coming to an end, or it came to an end, and now you're at home, um, not knowing what you're going to do. And you might feel very depressed because of that loss. You had, let's say that you had a lot of good connections there at the workplace, that you enjoyed your coworkers. Maybe not the boss so much, or maybe the opposite. You enjoyed working for your boss, but your coworkers, and and now you feel you're at loose ends, and it can be devastating. It can feel that way. It can feel very much like a death, and I can speak to all of that because I've lost loved ones. I've lost at least 4 jobs, for not because I was fired, but because attorneys left the law firm, and I've worked primarily in private law firms, and the partnership wasn't working out with them, with the other attorneys. And so they took another job, and they already had paralegals in place. And believe me, no one's indispensable. And so they can't take you with them all the time. And they can't take you maybe because your salary is pretty good salary, and that law firm does not want to pay that amount of money. Sorry for that. So there are various reasons why people lose their jobs. And my husband lost his because they were selling off the division to a huge car maker, and one of the most well-known in the world. And so, excuse me, they wanted to make the profit and loss look better, so they let go of a lot of people in management, and then created the numbers, to reflect that those salaries were non-existent anymore, and then it looked like the division made a higher profit. Pretty shady, right? Yeah. So my husband was one of those people that was let go. It wasn't just people who made really great salaries. It was people working in transporting goods out in the plant that had a management position. And believe me, they weren't bazillionaires, and they were let go. And so the healing from that, it took my husband 3 years to heal from that. And I'm still, he was still in the healing process for many years later. For me, actually, I faced a bit of a trauma in one job I was in, not in the legal field. And that catapulted me into the legal field. I thought, now's the time to specialize so I can bump my salary up. And I learned not to wait on employers to bump my salary up. I would switch jobs. Remember that tidbit, okay? Nothing wrong with changing jobs, by the way. So you have a time where you've got to heal from your feelings, from what other people said about you. You're feeling like your worth is diminished. You haven't lost your skills. In fact, you're going to add more when you go into the legal field that you never dreamed was possible. And so don't start playing the negativity game and negative self-talk. Fight that with everything that you have, but what I fight it with is God. And so I'm going to, this is day 83. This is so relevant to what you're possibly going through and why you're making a transition into the legal field. And maybe it doesn't pertain to you right now, but take some notes on this, okay? So that if you find yourself in this situation, you can go back to your notebook, your trusty Dollar Tree notebook, and find that page about job loss and recovering from job loss. Nothing about your value or your worth has changed sincerely when you lose your job. My dad was let go after 30 years with the same company as a supermarket manager in New Jersey, and he was devastated, shocked that they did that. They didn't care. And so for 6 months, he stayed at home. But I knew his value. I mean, I knew tip of the iceberg what his value was at work. I didn't work with him, but I did work at a supermarket. And I didn't know everything he did every day, but I can only imagine. And so I wrote him a letter telling him how much he was worth. He was offered a job 6 months later as a stock person to work in a different chain, different supermarket chain, making the same money he made as a manager with zero stress. So, you know, beauty came out of what felt like devastation. So hang on to that thought. Here's a verse. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. He rescues those whose spirits are crushed. That's from Psalm chapter 34, verse 18. Now, put that in Google and look at that. Okay, Psalm, it is Psalm, and put 34:18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. He rescues those whose spirits are crushed. Give him your hurts and your woes and your tears. Give it all to him and say, Lord, I trust you to help me get through this, to enter into this new career that I'm looking at, and to give me the courage to move forward, okay? We're not moving forward when we're stuck. And, you know, this is day 83 from this book, Unstuck. We're really not moving forward if we're blaming everybody else and we keep looking back at that job or the job that's coming to an end, and oh, I wish, and I wish this happened, and it's nothing's, that's remaining the same. That loss is cemented and it's remaining the same. What will change is what you do in the present to make your future happen. Okay? So when you ask people, how are they coping? You know, I had loss of loved ones in the last, like 2 years ago. I always have felt it's better to not push it down. If that's what you're doing, that's what you learned to do as a child, now's the time to let it out more and don't push it down and say, I just shove it in the back and I don't deal with it. No, deal with it. And write down what your current skills are. Write it down in your notebook. What are you bringing to the table to the next job? What do you know how to do, and what can you add to it? That's why I have done all these videos for you, okay? That's why I put all this out there, because some of this you already know. So you can be stuck in your feelings. You haven't really pushed it back. You're stuck in your feelings. And if you give it to him, he will turn it around for good, and he will restore you. But give it to him. Trust the Lord to help you through all this. Walking down that lonely road is really lonely, and it doesn't have to be your option. Okay, I had a lady about 5 or 6 years ago come on to my channel here, and you'll see her comment in under one of the videos. It was a long comment, and she said that she was watching people being laid off, and she was so afraid, so overcome with fear, because she thought, oh, my turn's going to be next. And she was the sole support of her household with a disabled mom and a young child, and as a single mom. And so she took to heart what I was saying in the videos and put herself out there with her resume and cover letter, and she landed 2 interviews, and she was accepted. She accepted one job that she was offered, I think both, and then she accepted one and entered the legal field. Now, after that, and she was an administrative assistant before, and which is what I was doing when I entered the legal field. So there's not much that will stop you if you determine that and give it to God to teach you. And watch a lot of my videos here. Take notes in your trusty notebook. Join the Paralegal Resource Hub. That's free. It's on my website. Link in the description box for my website. And then join the Paralegal Resource Hub. Totally free. Look under the tab Accelerator. That membership is launching soon, but get on the wait list because there's a special price for those who are on the wait list, okay? So God will deliver you from your enemies. David, who was King David of Israel, he wrote a lot of the Psalms, not all of them in the Bible, and he would talk to the Lord this way and thanking the Lord or asking the Lord to deliver him from his problems, whatever they were. And then he would do another type of psalm that would be thanking the Lord for delivering him from what happened. And so then here's the hardest thing to do. It may be a thing where you were treated incorrectly at the job. You were not treated well. And then they let you go. And you knew it wasn't your fault, but yet they let you go because they had the power to do so. You can walk around ticked off for the rest of your life, or you can say, okay, I have to forgive them. Why? Because you need to get that off your back. The Lord says to forgive 70 times 70, which for the Lord is like forgive to infinity, because the Lord tells you to, number one, and number two, it releases you. And so I didn't realize that when I left that job with a corporation in Oklahoma, and I kept playing that in my mind for a long time until I started understanding the paralegal field when I jumped into it, and I felt more accomplished, and then I could kick all those memories to the curb and be done. Excuse me. But I had to forgive the people that were there's one particular person, such a cruel human being, and I let that get too much into my head. Give it to God and ask him to take it. Ask him to take it. You'll meet attorneys like that as well. You have to learn how to deal with these things, and I deal with them head on. I had an attorney scream at me, in my second job. I counseled with my husband, who'd been through a lot more than me, and in the workplace. And I just went into that attorney's office the next day and talked with him, and he apologized because I confronted it nicely with no screaming and yelling. I showed him a different way of handling things, and what he screamed at me for was not my fault. It was his stupidity. And I did point that out nicely. He never gave me direction to do X, Y, Z. And I was new. I was still a baby paralegal at that point. So you will grow like crazy. But you'll only grow if you learn how to forgive and move on. Do you have to stay in an abusive workplace? No. I was happy to leave that job at the corporation. I was fighting leaving within myself, but I needed to leave for my own mental health. And that was a good thing. And I felt so happy after I left. It was a process though, because I kept remembering how they were, and you have to go shake the dust. Picture this, shake the dust off your feet and move on as if you never met them. Just keep going forward and pray for those people that, number one, they'll come to know Jesus, and number two, they'll stop acting like they do, okay? And forgive them though. All right, so have a great day today. I hope this was helpful to you. It is hard to move forward, definitely, but you can do this. Now, when you go to my website, and I'll put, the link is going to be in the description box. Look at three things. The accelerator tab, which will show you what's in the membership. It's a month by month thing. You join, you quit whenever you want. You can't join whenever you want because I don't keep it open, but you can quit whenever you want. The waitlist tab, get on the waitlist. There'll be special pricing. Only for my waitlist people and email list people. And then look under the Paralegal Resource Hub, join that. And that's free. Okay? So that is it for today. Have a good day. I hope this was helpful if you've suffered this kind of loss, or you see the writing on the wall right now and that's what's going to happen. The paralegal career is waiting for you, but you need to know the practical side of working with the attorney and how to help the attorney, and that's part of what I teach you. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Hey, comment below. I love hearing from you. Truly. Say hi.